ISKCON Coventry presents the Sunday devotional broadcast. Welcome and be inspired. Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to Sunday program on behalf of ISKCON Coventry. Hari Bol. Now, we want to welcome you to another Sunday program, and that's amazing. It's going to be amazing because we have got message from Prabhupada telling that how to believe one who is God, right? And then we are going to have bhajan from Prabhupada Arati by Ravi Prabhu and Madhura Mataji from Milton Keynes, and then we are going to have Kirtans followed by Jai Radha Madhav and class by His Grace Gurusevak Das Prabhuji, and then we have main Arati Gaura Arati by His Grace Raghupati Das Prabhuji, and then we have got Nasing Devati by Anil Prabhu from London. So be tuned, stay tuned with us to enjoy the Sunday program. Also, just would like to let you know this month is a special month of mercy. It's a month of marathon and it's a month of book distribution. Why? Because Prabhupada wanted everyone to distribute book just before the Gita Jayanti, and this auspicious day is going to be the next Ekadashi. So we'll be discussing about it. Stay tuned with us. And now, if Milton Keynes is ready, so we are going to Milton Keynes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Dhanavad Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma.
Shri Guru Charana Kevala Bhakti Sadma.
Bandhu Mori Savadana Mate.
Bandhu Mori Savadana Mate.
Jahara Prasade Bhai Ebhavatoriya Jai.
Jara Prasade Bhai Ebhavatoriya Jai.
Krishna Prati Hoy Jaha Hote.
Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hote.
Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Sitete Koi Aikya.
Guru Mukha Padma Sitate Goriya Jya.
Arana Kori Mana Aka.
Arana Kori Homane Asha.
Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Utama Gati.
Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Utama Gati.
Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha.
Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha.
चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित
प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ हो के विद्या विनाश जते
प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते
वेद ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित
वेद ज्ञान जहाँ रचरित
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आगमर जन बंधु
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आगम जनार बंधु
लोके जीवाना
लोकेर जीवाना
कहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद चय
प्रभु करो दया देव मोरे पद छाया
हे विज्ञान घोषित त्रिभुवाना
एबे जान घोषित त्रिभुवाना
प्रभु पति पवाना
प्रभु पार्वती भगवाना
गुरुदेव लो शरणा
गुरुदेव लोहित शरणा
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गुरुदेव की जय कृष्ण बंधु की जय हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Gaurani Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Jai Krishna Prabhuji. It's wonderful Arati, wonderful, and we have direct darshan of Srila Prabhupada Arati going on at the temple. You can see. Welcome back again with me, Prakash Gaura, and I would like to really congratulate your family, Ravi Tej Prabhu. It's really wonderful, really high level of dedication uh, for preaching work that you do to small kids and everyone. Thank you so much. And today's art was wonderful. Thank you so much for joining in. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. And here we can see we are concluding Prabhupada Arati at temple as well. Pujariji has blown the conch shell. And now we have a special message by Srila Prabhupada. When Prabhupada went to West, many devotees, many religionists asked questions to Prabhupada, who is God and how to recognize God? And Prabhupada answered it so strongly, such strong words that it's hard for anyone to not get convinced. So, are we ready with Prabhupada's message? Hare Krishna.
In the afternoons, Prabhupada meets with guests, here in Los Angeles with scholars of religion.
Your pride, your property, your family, your bank balance, your skyscraper building, all taken. Yes, finished. Got out. This is God. Now understand God. To believe or not believe, God will come one day. He'll take you, take your everything, and get out. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Those who are not believer in God, to them I come as death and take away everything. Finish. That one has to believe. Yes, as sure as death. Then God is here. So unless one is madman, he cannot say there is no God. Anyone who denies the existence of God is a madman.
Prabhupada, wouldn't it be better to say he's blind, he's stupid?
Yes, the same thing. The mad is the sum total of all stupidity.
Hare Krishna. Such a strong words. If you don't believe who God is, you meet him at the point of death. Then you believe it. Hari Bol. Such a wonderful message. Hare Krishna. So now, as we know, the Gita marathon is going on, and we are locked down in a state that we can't really go out for book distribution. So what do we do? Here's a chance to donate books at temple, and we would take responsibility to send it to the right people, students, and desirous candidates of bhakti. So please take an opportunity to go at our website krishnavrindavan.com and donate for books. And now we are going to our temple where our Pujari ji, His Grace Sacidananda Das Pujari, is going to do Kirtan for us. Hari Bol. While we are waiting for Pujari ji to just bless. You are ready, Pujari ji?
Yes, I'm here.
Sacidananda Prabhuji, you are ready? Hare Krishna.
I'm
So,
the date is actually altered.
okay. I just think Prabhupada ji is blessing us with his darshan. So if someone is going to turn the camera to you, it could be great.
Yeah, Prabhu, try now.
Hari Bol. So while Sacinandana Prabhu and Dinesh Prabhu are just getting ready for our wonderful Kirtan tonight, I would like to give you a food of thought basically on the thought of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was such a strong personality. He, to some, he appeared as a glowing saint, and then anyone who was there in the material life basically was able to give up all the material desires and just start to follow him. Prabhupada said that his books, he's still there in his books, and once we associate with the books by reading it, we associate with the thought process Prabhupada had and the message of Krishna. And once we get in touch with Krishna, it's very difficult or it's impossible to restrain ourselves from practicing bhakti yoga. A person who reads Prabhupada's book will surely turn to devotee, if not in this lifetime, maybe another, but it's definitely going to happen. Also, there are examples where a person would have read just one book and that too by an accident was actually turned into devotee immediately. Um, those examples are really wonderful. From Russia, from Europe, from US, Prabhupada was very powerful. He was able to turn devotees into happies, and he very strongly preached that. I would really like to request you all to be blessed, get your life blessed by reading Prabhupada's book. It says that we need to follow and then we need to preach. So achar and then prachar. So achar starts with reading Prabhupada's book, understanding the philosophy, following the philosophy, and living the philosophy. And when we are blessed, we are happy. It's although it's not a concern or it's not a requirement to be blessed, but we need to start preaching as soon as we understand the philosophy. If we know that we need to chant Hare Krishna, we tell everyone that please chant Hare Krishna. And if you know that we need to do a lot more. We do a lot more bhakti and then preach. Now I think Pujari ji is ready. So we'll go to temple for his wonderful bhajan. Hare Krishna Sacidananda Prabhuji. And thank you so much for the darshan of Shri Sacinanda, Nitai Srinath Gurudev Subhadra Madhava. Hare Krishna.
Mano Sodeho Geho Jogicho Or Pilo Tua Pade Mano Sodeho Geho Jogicho জীবনে মরণে সম্পদে পদে জীবনে মরণে দায় মোর বেলা তুয়া পদ দায় মোর বেলা তুয়া পদ মারবিয়া কবি জয়িতা তুমারা মারবিয়া কবি জয়িতা তুমারা নিত্য রাস প্রতি নিত্য রাস প্রতি ইচ্ছা যদি ইচ্ছা যদি ভকত গৃহে জনি ধন্য হোক ভকত গৃহে জনি ধন্য হোক কীট জনম যথা দুয়ারাস কীট জনম যথা দুয়ারাস মোহি মুখ ব্রহ্ম ধন্যে নাহি আস মোহি মুখ জন্ম ধন্যে নাহি আস Okay.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Wonderful bhajan by Raghupati Nonu Thakur. Thank you so much. We really enjoyed the bhajan and having blissful darshan of Shri Shri Sacidananda Das and Shri Shri Jagannath Bhavan, Jabaldev, Subhadra Madani, Radha Madhav, Madhusudan Ji, Giriraj, Govardhan, Nimai, and all the deities, Panchatattva. It's such blissful. Thank you so much. They are looking wonderful. They are looking beautiful. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the wonderful bhajan. It is said that when Vaishnava, when we hear songs from the material people, whatever songs we hear basically, but when we listen the songs from Vaishnava, so they have lived the life on the songs basically. So even we don't understand the song, our heart understand, and we truly get blessed. We can feel the bliss. So now we are going to Solihull, and there our little Titiksa and Sudarshan are waiting for our next bhajan. Hare Krishna, Sudarshan Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Titiksa Mataji. How are you?
Hare Krishna.
Haribol. You're looking wonderful. Hare Krishna. So please go proceed and start the bhajan. Thank you so much. Bless us with your bhajan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nama Vishnupadaya Vishvaprasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namayo Vishnupadaya Vishvaprasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Pinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurani Pachamine Nivishesha Shunnavani Pashade Sadanine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasarine Nivishesha Shunnavani Pashade Sadanine Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Nityananda Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare O Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Rama Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hare Krishna 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Jagannath, Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jagannath, Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya 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 Sacidananda, Jaya Nimai, Jaya Sacidananda, Jaya Nimai,
Jaya Sacidananda, Jaya Nimai, Sacidananda, Jaya Nimai,
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Prabhupada ki jai.
Haribol! What a wonderful bhajan. The Maha Mantra, I was just remembering this thing, is that do you know how when Krishna opened his mouth, what did Yashoda Mata see in Krishna's mouth?
The universe.
The universe, right? And Harinam is non-different from Krishna himself. So such a mercy. It's we are associating with Krishna, and when we associate with Krishna, we become truly blessed. And we can see that in you, Titiksa. Hare Krishna, such a wonderful expression and such a wonderful kirtan. I'd like to tell you all, Titiksa, when the first word Titiksa spoke is Prabhupada. Haribol. And when she was saying Prabhupada, we all noticed how blissful, how happy she is. Thank you so much for the bhajan, Mahamantra bhajan. Thank you, Sudarshan Prabhu, and thank you, Titiksa Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And now we are going to our next Kirtaniya from Birmingham. And now we are going to the house of Patit Pavan Prabhuji, where Gurbani and Nimai are waiting for the next Kirtan. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So before we begin, just want to let you know we are muted. So if you can unmute, please.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much.
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prajarine Devashisha Gurahari Hare
Hari Hari Bo.
Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. What a wonderful Kirtan. We are truly blessed. And Nimai is playing Mridanga, starting to learn and playing it so well. And Gurbani has grown from small kid to a big Kirtaniya now. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And the children are from Vaikuntha's basically when we hear and the singing, and we are getting really great comments for you, Gurbani, Nimai, also for Sudarshan and Titiksa. And thank you, Pragnesh Prabhu, for the lovely singing uh, by Sudarshan, Titiksa, well done, and wonderful singing for Gurbani, yourself, and Nimai. And there also we have got comments from Neela Mataji, Amon Narayan, Preeti Prakash, and Santosh Kumar, Shanti Chauhan, Kumar Kanuprati. Such a wonderful singing. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. And now we are going to Rugby, where we have a wonderful Bhakta, Prakash Bhai. He's a wonderful tabla player, and with he's with us today. Prakash, are you ready?
Yes, Prabhu. Thanks.
Wonderful. It's just that the camera is not towards you, but if that's okay, then it's fine.
Yeah, there's a reason. I'm just trying to get my voice closer to the mic because I got a bit of a sore throat. So
Wonderful. And
yeah,
with
you
the
can see me. I'm this Haribo. It's my
Haribol,
mataji.
Mataji
And
is
you have
there.
Nimaji there.
Hare Krishna. Mataji is there as well, is it?
Yeah,
Haribol, Hare Krishna.
yeah. My apologies. Yeah.
Hello. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. And as we all know, you are a great Ram Bhakt, and Manji is also there. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Haribol.
Krishna.
Please bless us with your Kirtan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Namaha Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Rama Shri Madhusudana Shri Ramchandra Bhagwan Ki Jai Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura.
Haribol. Wonderful person. Wonderful. Truly amazing. Kirtan is spiritual, and the spiritual is directly to heart. And to be honest, I was able to feel the goosebumps, Prakash, with your Kirtan. Thank you so much. It is so blissful. It's like just for the praise of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, Sri Sri Sacidananda Das Pujari, and with the blessing of Hanumanji, it was such a wonderful Kirtan as well. Thank you so much, and keep us joining us more and more with us so that we can get your association. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your blessings. Hare Hare.
Thank you. So now we are going to, it's time for our class, which is going to be given by Gurusevak Prabhuji. But before we go there, we need to take blessings of Jai Radha Madhav. And for the Jai Radha Madhav, we are going to Coventry, back to the home of Sri Sri Sacidananda Das Pujari. And we are going to Alpa Mataji's house, who is going to do
Radha Madhav.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Krishna.
Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari, Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jayo Girivaradari, Jayo Girivaradari, Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jayo Girivaradari, Jayo Girivaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Jananandana, Yasodanandana Braja Jananandana, Yamuna Tira Vanachar, Yamuna Tira Vanachar, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna
Bol.
Arjun. Hare Krishna Alpa Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Arjun for playing Mridanga. It was such a nice Kirtan and such a nice prayers. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. And now it's time to go to the nectar, the lecture, and it's going to be given by Gurusevak Prabhu tonight. And without wasting much time, we are going to Gurusevak Prabhu's place. Hare Krishna.
Hey, well,
Hare Krishna.
so very, very nice emceeing there, Prem Prakash Prabhu. So today's class is going to be about the Bhagavad Gita, given that it is the month of Bhagavad Gita in December. So if you like, I'll get started.
Hare Prabhuji.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vacharam pangam langayate krim yad kripatamaham vande paramananda madhava Shri Guru Deenapari. Jai Ho. So today's class is going to be about Bhagavad Gita, not necessarily reading from Bhagavad Gita, but speaking about the Bhagavad Gita itself. So those of us that are probably listening to Sunday program, those of us that have been in ISKCON for quite a few years, we're no doubt very familiar with Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is considered the basics, the ABC. Whenever anyone starts in Krishna consciousness, that's the first thing they actually learn, is Bhagavad Gita. So having been in Krishna consciousness for so many years, one may think, well, do I still need to read Bhagavad Gita? Is it still relevant to me? Have I gone beyond the instructions of Bhagavad Gita? Is it something that I need to still keep recapping? Many of us think Bhagavad Gita contains instructions that we are the soul, we are not this body. So you might think, well, I've understood that, so I don't need to necessarily read the Bhagavad Gita. Or some of us may think, well, it is necessary, but because I've heard it once or twice or read it for so many years now, I'm very familiar with it. So I can move on to Shastras like Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya, which is a fair point. And typically, though, this month of Bhagavad Gita is there because Mokshada Ekadashi occurs during this month. And we often think, oh, because of that, we'll read Bhagavad Gita. So we're having a lovely program every evening where the devotees get together and we read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And we go through this in English so that we actually understand the meaning. And it's something that we're doing every day, going through a chapter, as well as reading Bhagavad Gita Mahatmya, which is very, very wonderful. It shows essentially for every chapter what the benefits of reading it actually are. And this is aside from the actual benefits of understanding what's in the Gita. So there's a very nice pastime of my Guru Maharaj, Krishnadas Maharaj. When he was young, he was, I think it was 16 years old, and he learned all 700 shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita. And he went to his Guru Maharaj and said, Maharaj, I've learned all 700 shlokas. And his Guru Maharaj said, very nice, well done. He goes, you've learned all 700, it's very impressive. He goes, so have you understood all 700? And my Guru Maharaj paused because he said, wow, learning them was very easy. Understanding all of the Bhagavad Gita is very difficult. Srila Prabhupada always used to say, even one verse out of Bhagavad Gita, if you fully understand it, you can make your life a complete success. That must mean that whatever there is there in Bhagavad Gita is so potent, it's enough to deliver you. So it's important to think on that. Why is it that Bhagavad Gita is so important? And in very short terms, it's because it is Lord Krishna's actual words. When Guru Maharaj was here, he always used to say the acronym Gita stands for G, God's instruction to Arjuna. So God's, G, I, instructions, T, to A, Arjuna. So God's instructions to Arjuna. So these are very important instructions. So we might think, okay, great, I've understood it. I've heard it for so many years. It's a book of philosophy. I love philosophy, but I prefer Leelas. Many people think like that, especially even myself. You get more familiar with the philosophy. Yeah, I've understood I'm not this body, I'm the spirit soul. Yeah, I understand I need to learn all of the things in Bhagavad Gita. And it's nice philosophy, but it doesn't necessarily interest me so much. I'm interested in hearing the Lord's pastimes. So it's good to actually hear from someone who actually was in Lord Krishna's pastimes. It's okay for us to think, oh, I love hearing about it, but what about someone who was actually in the Lord's pastimes? And coincidentally, someone that heard Bhagavad Gita. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, 15th chapter, where Arjuna actually comes back from Dwarka. And he has come back from there, and it's after Krishna has actually left the planet. And Yudhishthira is inquiring, Arjuna, you don't look like yourself. So in there, it says basically it's the whole of the 15th chapter of that first canto is about Yudhishthira Maharaj questioning Arjuna. So it said that Sutta Goswami said, Arjuna, the celebrated friend of Lord Krishna, was grief-stricken because of his strong feeling of separation from Krishna. And over and above Maharaj Yudhishthira's speculative inquiries. So the chapter before, Yudhishthira was asking Arjuna, you don't look yourself. Why is it you look so sad? And in many different ways, he was trying to ask, is this person okay? If you've been Dwarka okay? Is Krishna okay? And in this particular chapter, Arjuna opens up and says what's happened. So text 2 is, due to grief, Arjuna's mouth and lotus-like heart had dried up. Therefore his body lost all of its luster. Now remembering the Supreme Lord, he could hardly utter a word in reply. With great difficulty, he checked the tears of grief that smeared his eyes, and he was very distressed because Lord Krishna was out of his sight, and he increasingly felt affection for him. So this is the thing with Krishna consciousness. People go in there assuming, oh, everything's going to be okay. If we're in love with the Lord, you're just in love with the Lord all the time and you're happy all the time. That's not the case at all. Even when it comes to loving the Lord, there's joy, there's distress, there's so many different ranges of emotion. I like to meditate on the Lord's pastimes when I'm chanting. And the other day, when we were having one of our chanting sessions in the evening, I was meditating on Kaliya pastime, where Krishna danced on Kaliya. Now, I like Lord Krishna as a baby, but I also like him as a friend. So the friend of Lord Krishna in me wants Krishna to go there and beat Kaliya up. But halfway through, when Krishna, or in the pastime when I was going through, and Krishna was actually being held by Kaliya, and Krishna does this, he was playing around in the water. So when Krishna jumped in to the Yamuna, he was so strong, he was actually creating waves with his arms. And he said Kaliya came up to try and grab him. Krishna would create a wave with his arms, and the wave would just push Kaliya back. So clearly, in strength, Krishna was absolutely outmatching Kaliya. He couldn't even get near him. But when the Lord realized and looked and saw he had an audience on the actual shore, he allowed Kaliya to grab him. almost like a boa constrictor, grabbing all around, and he was just there being held. And it said the Lord was like this for quite a long time. So you can imagine the state of the people on the actual shore of the Yamuna there watching. So for Balaram, who was there, he wasn't concerned at all. He was looking and he thinks, this guy has no match for Krishna. And he's thinking, actually, the Lord is playing with Galia as a serpent. He never does this with me as a Nantashish. And Lord Balaram was actually getting jealous. But on the shore there was Yashoda Mata and Nanda Maharaj, and they were going absolutely crazy because their baby Krishna, who they think is a baby still, was being held by Kalia. And in their hearts, they would be feeling such incredible grief and anxiety. And when I was chanting there for a moment, I thought, I wonder what it'd be like for Yashoda Mata seeing Krishna being held by Kalia. And all of a sudden, you start to worry, like, oh my God, is Krishna going to be okay? Oh my God, someone save him, quick, quick. And all of these different kinds of emotions come up in relation to the Lord. And it's not just that, oh my God, it's Lord Krishna, he's wonderful, he's amazing, everyone be happy. It's not that at all. When Krishna's pastimes are going on, if he's in danger, if you have feelings towards him of love, you feel that anxiety. So it's not surprising that Arjun, after Krishna had left, was feeling such anxiety for the Lord, thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to see him again. We have never seen the Lord. We've taken his darshan in pictures. We've taken darshan of the deities of the Lord. Face to face, we have never seen the Lord. Well, I haven't. I don't know, maybe some of you devotees have. I've never had that good fortune. And typically, we love him because of what we've heard about him. It's said that the Lord's actual physical presence is not, and actually we read this in Srimad Bhagavatam earlier, it said the Lord's physical proximity doesn't make you want to love him. That's not what it does. In fact, most of the time, when people would see the Lord, if they have any traces of envy, jealousy, or anything like that in the heart, the very first thing they're going to think is, oh my God, look how beautiful he is. And they start immediately becoming jealous. They immediately start becoming envious. Like Shishupal, when Krishna was being honored in the Rajasuya Yajna, everyone honored Krishna before anyone else. This is a Rajasuya Yajna. This is a big yajna. And even the demigods had come there. Lord Brahma was there, Lord Shiva, Bhishma, all of them, they were all there. And Lord Krishna was being honored first. Shishupal just couldn't handle it. He's thinking, how is my cousin being honored above Bhishma, above Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva? So he became immediately jealous. So the proximity to the Lord meant nothing. The fact that he was a few meters or 50 meters away from Lord Krishna. If I said to you tomorrow, Krishna's going to come and you'll be able to see him from 10 meters away, everyone would jump at the chance. But it doesn't mean just because you're there in the Lord's proximity, you will feel love. Just like when you go to the temple and you take darshan of the deities, you can be two people the same distance away from the deities. You look over and the person next to you is crying tears of love and joy. And you're sitting there thinking, well, I've been in here for 5 minutes now, so I think if I do another 5 minutes, that's enough, and then I can leave the temple. It's like going to Jagannath Puri temple. When you're in the actual temple, you realize how much actual devotion you have, because there'll be people standing there for like hours and hours taking darshan of the deities. And you all stand there for 10, 15 minutes, in which time you've said all your shlokas, all your prayers, and you're thinking, wow, we're still here for the rest of the day yet. What shall I do? You know, so this is the difference. The Lord's proximity, just like your proximity to the deities, does not inspire you to love the Lord. Lord Krishna actually said it, that it's actually hearing about the Lord and chanting the Lord's glories. That's what makes you appreciate the Lord. Hearing about the Lord. And the hearing about the Lord also means the words that the Lord has actually spoken. Rukmani Devi had never even met Lord Krishna. She never met him. She'd never even seen him. He said the Lord is most beautiful. She'd never even seen him. But from Narad Muni, she'd heard about the Lord's good qualities. And just based on that, she decided, I want to marry the Lord. Imagine trying to do that nowadays. If you say to someone on one of these dating sites, I haven't got a picture for you, but here's how great I am. Do you want to marry me? No one's going to do that. But you can imagine in that time, Krishna's qualities are so outstanding just by hearing of them. Rukmini Mata wanted to marry him. So this is the same thing for us. Krishna's not going to walk down the street tomorrow to our door and knock on the door and say, hey, I'm here. But if we want to fall in love with him, we have to hear about him. We have to chant about him. And this is why Bhagavad Gita is so important. So we'll carry on here. Arjun's Sutta Goswami says, remembering Lord Krishna and his well wishes, benefactions, intimate familial relations, and his chariot driving, Arjun, overwhelmed and breathing very heavily, began to speak. Arjun said, O king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Thus my astounding power, which astonished even the demigods, is no longer with me. So one thing you have to understand about Arjun, the rest of this chapter, Arjun's going into what sort of things that the Lord had him do. It said in the next thing, only by his strength were able to vanquish all the lusty princes assembled at the palace of King Drupad for the selection of the bridegroom. Because he was near me, it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful king of heaven, Indradev, along with his demigod associates. So you can see Arjun's strength, not just for a human being, he was able to defeat Indra, the king of heaven. And it's actually said that when Indradev, the whole pastime with Govardhan happened, at that point, Krishna wasn't really that upset, because with Lord Brahma, when he stole the cows and the calves, he actually took away Krishna's associates from Krishna. So Krishna wasn't really that happy about that. But what Indra did with the raining and Govardhanji being lifted, it brought all of Lord Krishna's associates closer to him. So he actually wasn't unhappy about that, because he got to spend 7 days and nights with all of the associates while he was holding up Giriraj. So when Indradev came down and actually apologized to the Lord and bathed him, and I think Garmadenu actually bathed the Lord forgave him, and Indradev asked for something. And he said, can you please bless my son Arjun, who is being born? And can you make it so that throughout his life, he's practically invincible while you're here? And the Lord actually granted that. So Arjun's confirming that here, that incredible strength that Arjun was able to have, where he's able to defeat Indra himself, who was able to astonish Lord Shiva, are able to go to the heavenly planets in his self-same body. And he's actually given a half-raised seat. In the heavenly planets, you can't go with your own body. You have to, there's a saying, isn't there? Everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So it's just, you can't go to heaven in your self-same body. But Arjun was even able to do that, and is given a half-elevated seat in the actual court of Lord Indra. And Arjun goes through all of the incredible things that he was able to do, including, he said here, the military strength of the Kauravas was like an ocean in which there dwelled many invincible existences, and thus it was insurmountable. But because of his friendship and him being seated on my chariot, I was able to cross over it. And he said, the Lord, he goes, it was he only who withdrew the duration of life from everyone in the battlefield, and it withdrew the speculative power and strength of enthusiasm from the great military flanks made by the Kauravas, headed by Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Shalya. You have to understand, in the Mahabharata war, Arjun was amazing, yes, definitely, but any one of Bhishma, Karna, and Drona could have beaten him. But because Krishna was with him, he was practically invincible on the battlefield. And he himself, while Krishna was on the planet Earth, Arjun never ever lost at all, ever, to anyone, which is in itself astonishing. So you can see not only the Lord is powerful, he empowers his devotees. So as devotees, we have to say that whatever it is that we are greater and we think, oh, I'm really good at this, I'm really good at that. No, the Lord is giving you that ability. And if he chooses to take it away, he can. So it says here that if we go further down, Arjun says, "O Emperor, now that I am separated from my friend and dearmost well-wisher, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore my heart appears void of everything. In his absence, I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowherd men while I was guarding the body of the wives of Lord Krishna." So after the Lord left, the Lord left, all of his queens were still there. And it's actually said that those queens of Lord Krishna were actually they were residents of the heavenly planets who were blessed by Ashtavakra, that they would have the Supreme Lord as their husband. He said, however, when they saw him walk to leave, they saw Ashtavakra's body was bent in 8 places. So as he would walk, it would be a very it would look very weird. And when the daughters of the demigod saw this, they started laughing. And Ashtavakra cursed all of them to say, even though you'll have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as your husband, you will end up being kidnapped by rogues. And immediately the daughters of the demigods got very upset and they begged for forgiveness. And it said that Ashtavakra blessed them to say, even though this would happen, you will regain your husband even after being kidnapped by rogues. So how could this happen? How can you think it would happen where the Lord would allow his Dharmapatnis to be able to be kidnapped? So Arjun, in this situation, it looks like really bad. Like, how is Arjun able to defeat Bhishma, Karna, Drona, who Bhishma Dev himself battled Parshuram for 18 days in Kurukshetra and was practically able to defeat him? In Bhishma Dev's previous life, he was one of the 8 Vasus, known as Prakash. And they had gone to visit Vishishtamuni one day, and they saw Vishishtamuni had a Kamadhenu cow. And that Prakash decided, I want this Kamadhenu. So he arranged to basically kidnap it. So when he was kidnapping this cow, all the other Vasus helped him. And when they came out, Vishishtamuni saw them and cursed them all to be born on the earth. And so it happened Mother Ganga was nearby because she was in the heavenly planets at that time. So she saw this happening, and they all apologized to Vishishtamuni, and Vishishtamuni forgave them all except for Prakash. And Ganga said, don't worry, you can all come as my children. But it turns out that that one Vasu, Prakash, had to stay for 400 years on earth to actually live that curse. So the other sons of Ganga, she drowned them immediately after being born. They were all relieved. So Bhishma Dev is one of the 8 Vasus that are incredibly powerful. So he was so powerful on the battlefield, no one could actually stand in front of him. So Arjun is saying, how could I have defeated such great personality? And it's definitely true that the Lord had given him power. So when he was taking the queens of Lord Krishna back from Dwaraka, he was taking them, he actually got attacked by some cowherd boys, cowherd men, and they basically defeated him with his Gandiva. And Arjun basically saw that, oh my God, I'm the same Arjun, and this is the same Gandiva, but this is even the same chariot, but I've been defeated. So he basically just took the Gandiva and just threw it in a pond somewhere, because this bow and arrow is useless. So it actually said that in another place that these cowherd men that attacked Arjun was none other than Krishna and Balaram themselves. So if you think the Lord is a cowherd boy. So Krishna and Balaram, disguised as those cowherd men, attacked Arjun, and of course they can beat him. It is the Lord giving Arjun his power after all. So they were able to defeat him, and they took the wives. So they themselves are the Supreme Lord. So Ashtavakra Muni's blessing actually came true in that they ended up back in the Lord's protection. So Arjun is saying that at this point, once this has happened, he's seen, he goes, I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjun to whom all the king offered their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds on barren land. So Arjun is saying here that all of my powers have just vanished since Krishna has left. So you can see here, Arjun was very, very distressed. And he's saying, the Lord, Arjun says later in text 27, this is what we're going to focus on. So, Sudarshan, if you can get that verse up. That's Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, text 27. So here Arjun says, now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. So you can see Arjun at this stage, when he's missing the Lord, turned to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. This is why it's so important, not just if you're starting in Krishna consciousness or if you're in the middle or at the end. Bhagavad Gita is absolutely important, because even if you're missing the Lord, this is the way to actually get relief from that. So Srila Prabhupada says, herein Arjun refers to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, which was imparted to him by the Lord on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Lord left behind the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, not for the benefit of Arjun alone, but for all time and in all lands. The Bhagavad Gita, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom. It is nicely presented by the Lord himself for all who have very little time to go through the vast Vedic literatures. So you can see here, it says a little bit further down, the problems which arose in the heart of Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra was solved by the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Again, after the departure of the Lord from the vision of earthly people, and when Arjun was face to face with being vanquished in his power and prominence, he wanted to again remember the great teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Just to teach all concerned that the Bhagavad Gita can be consulted in all critical times, not only for solace from all kinds of mental agonies, but also for the way out of great entanglements, which may embarrass one in some critical hour. The merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of Bhagavad Gita, so that one can take the instructions of the Lord even when he is not visible to material eyesight. So you can see, like as I was mentioning before, you're not going to be able to take darshan of the Lord coming down your street or in the supermarket or anywhere else. It's just not going to happen. The Lord is not within your material eyesight. So how can we keep in touch with him? Through the words of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is non-different from his words. So whether, even if you think I am very advanced, I've gone past the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, oh yeah, I know it, I read it before, I hear it every year. This is the basics of Krishna consciousness, all the way up to the advancement of Krishna consciousness. There's verses in Bhagavad Gita even now. I learned so many shlokas, just like the children are doing right now when they're young, learning so many shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. I did exactly the same thing at their age. So I know, having learned the shlokas then and having learned to apply them is two totally different things. It's taken me my entire life just to apply a couple of the shlokas that I know. And still I'm learning newer and newer things about them, even now. And they make big changes in my spiritual life just by implementing them. And it's incredible. So it said, material senses cannot have any estimation of the Supreme Lord. But by his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned souls through a suitable matter in the agency of matter. So he's saying that the scriptures, like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, are authentic spiritual representation of the Lord. So if you want to associate with the Lord, Bhagavad Gita is definitely the way to do it. And one last thing to do, because I know we're running short of time now. I think it's supposed to be Arati soon, I guess. It must be now. So I'll end on one thing. Bhagavad Gita in itself, like we read in Gita Mahatmya, has many benefits for those who read it. We've seen by chanting this chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day, you'll go back to Godhead. By chanting this particular ninth chapter, you'll get free of sins. By chanting the 12th chapter, you'll get bhakti. But what does that mean? Is it chanting parrot fashion? Or just knowing the shlokas and not understanding the meaning? Or some people just read the English and basically think, am I getting the benefit from there? The benefit of Bhagavad Gita is twofold. You will get spiritual benefit just from hearing the spiritual sound vibration, because that sound vibration is the Lord. It is the words of the Lord. So that sound vibration will give you that benefit. But try to understand the Bhagavad Gita. You must understand the shlokas. It's not simply enough to, it's like saying, I'm going to learn a book about how to repair a car. And if, as long as I keep reading them, I'll become an expert. You don't make any attempt to try and understand what you're reading. Are you going to be able to go and fix the car? No, of course you're not. But if you look and say, hey, these are actually principles in order to do something, in order to follow those instructions, then it can make a huge difference. When we used to be when Guru Maharaj was here, I'll leave you with one thing. There used to be a track that came out with all of the Bhagavad Gita shlokas in a singing format. It would be very, very nice. And we used to put it on and be like, oh my God, the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. It really does sound like a song now. And one day Guru Maharaj was having prasad. I said to Guru Maharaj, should I put this Bhagavad Gita CD on with it sung? And my Guru Maharaj looked at me very seriously and said, Gurusevak, that's a book of philosophy. It's not a song. If you're going to put it on, I want to be listening to it with full attention and understanding it. It's not something to have on while I'm having prasad beta. And immediately I was like, whoa, okay, sorry, Guru Maharaj. So I understand it years later now, knowing that it's not just a song or a shaloka. This is philosophy. This is there to be understood, questioned, in order to actually put that into practice and get the benefit of it. So this Bhagavad Gita is very, very important. Even one shaloka a day, one shaloka a week, read it and try and understand how can I implement 5 to 10% of this in my life. I will definitely feel that benefit. So I think that's all the time we have today. So thank you for listening. I don't know if there's any questions or not. Let me check the comments. Very well, Prakash. Any at all have come in?
So we have got comments from Shraddha Mataji saying that it's lovely class, and thank you Pooja and Meeta Mataji for the compliments. And as Gurusevak Prabhuji, you rightly said that it's a philosophy is a theory, and how to implement it in life is practical. It's easy to read theory, but we have to learn how to implement it. And the answer is in Bhagavad Gita itself. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariparishnena sevya updeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana.
Exactly.
So
yeah. I would say definitely I wouldn't call it a theory. I know that's the American scientific way of doing it, and the reason why science calls things theory is because sometimes they're proven right, sometimes they're proven wrong. With Bhagavad Gita is spiritual fact. And my Guru Maharaj used to say, never speculate. Any sort of, and we used to come and we used to tell my Guru Maharaj would say, why has this happened? And we theorize on it. We'd make us, oh, Guru Maharaj, maybe this happened like that. Guru Maharaj said, maybe, don't speculate. So with spiritual life, with the Bhagavad Gita and all that, this is absolute spiritual fact. And I think if we start from this is what it is. If we start from the actual process, believing that it's spiritual fact, it simply becomes how do I unlock this fact in our spiritual life? And this is where Srila Prabhupada's purports are so important in that. They unlock that fact into your life practically and how to actually apply that.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much.
Apologies for making it theory, but it's not theory, it's fact. But to understand and implement it, it's practically what we need to do. That's what I wanted to say. So to that, please read it, understand it from Prabhupada as in puppet. And if you still need help, then please visit temples, approach a bona fide spiritual master, where we can learn how to practically see what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and try to understand the mystery of spiritual.
Definitely.
So thank you, Gurusevak Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mark Prabhu. And now we are going to Birmingham to Raghupati Das, his Grace to Raghupati Das Prabhuji's residence, and where he is going to sing the main Gaura Arati, followed by the main Arati, and we'll be going to the temple where our Lordship will be blessing us with their wonderful darshan. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Bol, Dhanva Pranam. I really
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining, Prabhuji. That's really a wonderful light aroma. I mean, it's coming from, it's like Jnani Purush and Bhakt Purush are there. Then the background of their head is lightened, just like Krishna is being lightened. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Wonderful darshan, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So, so.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you very much. So, we're going to just show you very briefly our three altars. They have new dresses, and then we'll start in the Arati.
Wonderful.
So, hopefully, you'll be able to see. I'm using my phone. Let's see if you can have darshan.
Hari Bol, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaura Nitai ki Jai.
Gonitai, Jai Shri Gonitai ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Sudramai ki Jai. So they have new dresses today.
Wonderful.
Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki Jai.
Hari Bol. So it's a winter dress. Yeah, it's getting cold.
Yeah, it's a winter dress.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, bro. So shall we start then?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Kiva Jayo, Jayo, Gaura Chandi, Arati Kushobha. Kiva Jayo, Jayo, Gaura Chandi, Arati Kushobha. Janavi Tatvani Jagman Lobha. Janavi Tatvani Jagman Lobha. Kiva Dakshine Tai Chan Ami Gadadhara Dakshine Nitai Chan Ami Gadadhara Nikatiya Dvaitashiri Vasu Chatrudhara Nikatiya Dvaita Shiri Vasu Chatrudhara Kiva Bashi Ache Gaurachan रत्न सिंहासने वसी आचे गौराचरण रत्न सिंहासने आरती करेन ब्रह्म आदि देवगणे आरती करेन ब्रह्म आदि देवगणे किव नर हरि आदि करी चमरी डुलाया
हरि आदि कोरी चमर धुलाया जाया मुंडवसु कौशादि गाया शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे करताल शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुरा रे दंग बाजे करमल सारा मधुराम रे दंग भजे परमल सारा शंख भजे घंटा भजे मधुर 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 भजे शंख भजे घंटा भजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल 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 बहु कोटि चंद्र जिनी वदन उज्ज्वला बहु कोटि चंद्र जिनी वदन उज्ज्वला काला देश वनमाला करे जनमाला काला देश वनमाला करे जनमाला शिव सुख नारद प्रेम गदाधार शिव सुख नारद प्रेमी गदाधार ओ बाकाती नोध देखे गौरार संपार बाकाती नोध देखे गौरार संपार की बजाय गौरा चंद्र आरती कचो की बजाय गौरा चंद्र आरती कचो Jagamanalo Bhajana Vikata Jagamanalo Gaurangera Roti Shobha Jagajana Manalo Gaurangera Roti Shobha Jagajana Gaurangera Roti Shobha Jagajana Manalo Gaurangera Roti Shobha Jagajana Manalo Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Namayom Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namayom Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavani Ashatyale Satarine Jaya Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavani Ashatyale Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Sitaram Lakshma Hanuman Sitaram Lakshma Hanuman Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radhe Radha Ramana Radha Ramana Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Mani Ma Jaya Mani Ma Mani Ma Jaya Mani Ma Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Avatumi Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Sham Sundar Pyare Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Sham Sundar Pyare Jagannath. Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Maharani, Jai Subhadra, Jai Subhadra, Jai Maharani, Jai Sacidananda Das Pujari, Krishna Priya Prana, Jai Bihari. Jai Nitai Chan, Jai Nitai Chan, Jai Nitai Chan, Jai Kachakra Dham, Jai Nitai Chan, Jai Nitai Chan, Jai Nitai Chan, Jai Kachakra, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Jai Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. जय सच्चिदानंद चांद की जय, जगन्नाथ सुभद्र की जय, माधव राधा गोकुल सीताराम स्वान की जय, पंचत की जय, सद्गुरु संदान की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, गौर प्रणंद हरि हरि
Hare Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sudarshan, for joining in for the Arati. Thank you so much. We had small technical difficulty with Raghupati Prabhu, and then probably he got disconnected. Uh, but thanks for joining in, and it was wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So, as we are approaching to the end of the program, we would like to do Nasimha Arati. And this Arati is so powerful, we want to, because once Lord Nasimha blesses, the devotee really get protection. And for this, before we go to Arati, we should remember, and we will remember Alpa Ban's Mataji, who's not doing good, Ken Prabhuji, and we have Kachubai and Chandranath Hari Das Prabhuji, a senior disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, and also Atmadev Maharaj, who passed away in Mahadham near Kapurthala, and also anyone who is suffering from COVID, anyone who is going to get vaccination for COVID, and every one of us for the protection and our spiritual progress. For the Nasimha Arati, we are going to Anil Das Prabhuji. So if Anil Prabhu, you're online, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Over to you, Hare Krishna, Anil Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Prahlad Hiranyakashipur Bhakshaya Shilatanka Narkalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Yato Narsimha Bahe Narsimha Hirdaye Narsimha Narasingamadim Sharana Prapale Tavakara Kavalamare Nakam Avaputa Shringayam Talita Hiranyakashipur Talavengam Keshavadirta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kavalamare Nakam Avaputa Shvengayam Talita Hiranyakashipur Talavengam Keshavadirta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narsimhadev 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 Jaya Narsimhadev Jai Ho Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Sacinandana Jaya Nitai Chand Jaya Sacinandana Jaya Nitai Chand Gaura 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 Hari Gaura 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 Hari Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol 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 Nitai Gaur Nitai Gaur Nitai Gaur Nitai Gaur Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai Jai Narasimha Bhagavan ki jai Bhakta Prahlad ki jai Shri Sacinandana Nitai Chand ki jai Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai Shri Radha Gokul Nand ki jai Shri Radha Madhav ki jai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.
Wonderful, Anil Prabhu. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful Nasimha Arati, and heartfelt Arati is always answered. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Also, uh, I I would I would really like to appreciate and bring to your notice that you must have enjoyed the beautiful darshan we had today of our lordships. Such a clarity. It seemed like we are just sitting in the front row of the temple altar and seeing them. It's not an easy task. It was, and for that, I would like to thank Avtar Prabhu for upgrading the temple PC. Also, Alok Prabhu for daily darshan on camera for this high quality darshan. And we also like to thank you, Shavan Kumar and family for sponsoring such a beautiful camera. And for the final announcements, I would like to go to Vidur Prabhu, he's very senior and our guide in the temple, and he's going to make the final announcements. Thank you, Vidur Prabhu. Thank you for joining in. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody, all our viewers, and thank you, Prabhu, for hosting the program today.
Thank
also
you.
want to add one more appreciation is to Sudarshan, because for 3 weeks now, our master controller, Shravan, has been out of action because his computer is down and out. So Sudarshan has been filling in for the last 3 weeks. And well done, Sudarshan, for you're not only doing the control room functions, you're also taking part in the singing of the part of the program. So, it's a tough job, but he's doing very well. Well done. So today's announcements, there was some messaging that tomorrow there is a solar eclipse and maybe we should be taking some action around that. Actually, it doesn't affect us. This solar eclipse is affecting South America mostly. That's it. I don't think it even comes on the northern side of the equator. So nothing to worry about tomorrow's solar eclipse. Doesn't affect us. The main event now we're all building up to, and oddly enough, I was looking at the calendar. We got 12 days to Christmas now. 12 days to Christmas, which is like 12 days to Gita Jayanti for us. So, because on Christmas Day is the wonderful Gita Jayanti program. We started last Tuesday or Monday, to start reading each chapter of Bhagavad Gita and the Gita Mahatmya story connected with that chapter, leading up to celebrating Gita Jayanti on Christmas Day. So we invite you to join us every day, including tonight, 7:30, to read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and also to read the glorification of that from Gita Mahatmya. I would also like to suggest, because someone mentioned it earlier on in the week, that our Pujari was mentioning, because during Purushottam Mas and Kartik Mas, we had some wonderful program of people daily sponsoring the offerings at our temple, and I would like to invite all of you to please consider doing that in this month of Bhagavad Gita. There's 12 days left, so please do that. It would be also nice if under normal circumstances we'd be inviting all of you to sponsor Bhagavad Gitas, which we would then give out throughout the year to who needs them, students, schools, universities. If somebody wants Bhagavad Gitas, we would sponsor those. So December time was a month where we would go out and visit people in their homes, invite them to sponsor Bhagavad Gitas. So we're doing it now online to you. Please, if you like to sponsor Gitas for distribution, you're very welcome to do so. So that's it. No more announcements. Thank you all for joining us. Please do join us for the evening Gita readings. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Hare Krishna.